when we talk to Gen Z, it was like Myntra is like Facebook.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That was the word one consumer told me.
Yeah.
I was in Delhi Sarojini Nagar market. And she said, she was Instagram.
Guys, welcome back to the Synapse Pod. Super happy and glad to have our friend Sumit here. Sumit is the founder of New Me, which is a ultra fast fashion brand for Gen Z, and he has also been the MD of Miro India, which is again a fantastic company, a multi-billion-dollar company. He has also worked with Rocket Internet and has a fantastic journey of multi-years in the e-commerce D2C space. So Sumit, super glad to have you here at Synapse Pod, man.
Great here, man. Same. I think good to see you today finally.
Yes, finally after all these conversations.
Yes.
And we have our usuals, Ayush, Shubham, who is the founder of Closer, Paras. All Leaf Boys are here. So today's conversation is going to be extra special because Sumit has traveled all the way from Bangalore for us, and I'm super humbled and thank you so much for that.
No, yeah, it means a lot to me as well, guys. I know Paras. I had met you 2 years back when you were doing a startup. Want to take a small check? He didn't allow to check in his company. After last, he'd say, "Yeah, Sumit, sorry." But I think, I always know he has something special in him.
It's been a long journey since. So Sumit is also an angel investor.
Not anymore. I don't invest anymore. Just focus on
Okay, now he's building.
He's put the whole fund into himself.
Right now, focus on thing. Right.
That is the best bet, right, on yourself. So Sumit, I think everyone here is very excited to hear your story from the very early days, and how you grew as an entrepreneur, all your learnings, and I'm sure there have been ups and downs and rights and lefts and whatnot. So would love to deep dive into it from the very start.
And like Sumit is the first guest on pod who's anywhere closely related to D2C, which we guys have done.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah. Also for the audience, before we proceed, Sumit's company New Me is a fantastic company. You guys should check it out. And they've already raised multi-million dollars from multiple investors. And Sumit would be more than happy to tell about his mentors and how he's growing. So we'll start with New Me and then we can go back to the journey.
Sure. So yeah, I think New Me journey was something which we never thought of, to be honest with you. I think I'm not a fashionable person. I've been born out of a simple middle class family. Fashion was the last thing on my entire tire. I think, but the problem statement was extremely exciting. And I think for me, after meeting a couple of founders during my investment journey, I realized that, to build a good company, you need a very solid team. Solid team means the founders have to have a long-term vision, right? And I think one thing where a couple of my portfolio companies did not do well was only one reason I had to put today. That was founders could not work together, or as they scaled, the visions changed for the company. So I was very clear that, when I have to build my company, I want to have founders whom I can work for next 10, 20 years together. And even when we started discussing the idea of New Me, one of my co-founders, Shivam, we know each other from last 6-7 years now. And we don't have best buddies or friends, but we have been very good professional friends. We met in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh City, in a conference. Right? I was working with Rocket. He had his own startup, and we connected very well. And we had good discussions about business, about investments, what is next for him, what is next for me, etc., etc. And when I left Rocket, he called me and said, next kya karne wala hai? What's your next plan? I said, we have to figure out, because Rocket was extremely exciting, but extremely, tiring as well. So, but had been in touch with him. And then one day I talked to him and said, I'm coming to India. I was like, dude, let's do something together. I had no idea. I don't know anything, but I think we can work together. And that was our first conversation for 30 minutes. What can we do together? And then he said, let's put a calendar invite for one hour. Every alternate week, 15 days, we'll catch up on what things excite us. And we put a Google sheet of what we want to do. What are our strengths? What would keep us motivated for next couple of years. So Miro was my last company before Numi, and it was B2B space. I think it was fantastic journey, but I realized, yeah, I love B2C more. B2C is where, you love the customer, you see the customer. B2B is different. It's a very long gestation. Deals are very big size. It has own ups and downs. B2C is very reactive sometimes, right?
Yeah.
You have competition, you have to, market is very different, right? So I said I want to go back to the consumer side,
Yeah.
But that was very clear. It excites me. Rock was my best adrenaline rush. Numbers excited me, right? So then me and Shivam started working on a couple of ideas, and we said, like we know marketing. Again, not a pros, but we know marketing. We know operations. Operation we can pull off. Rocket संभाला है. Miro देखा है marketing operations आता है. We know marketing operations, right? And we said, this is something we can work together on. Then met Vinod through a common friend, and Vinod was running his own startup, and I met him over a Zoom call. It was COVID that time. I really liked him, and I liked his energy, his passion about fashion, and how his journey has been. Like one of the first employees of Shoppers Stop, like talking about 2000, when India just opened on retail, right? India and like Vinod is like 4-5 years senior, like in age wise, but super energetic, extremely passionate about building something more impacting, and he was talking about how fashion is changing and all that stuff. So we had some ideas, like then Shivam met Vinod. Shivam said, he's a good guy. Can we work together? And that's how we three came together and started discussing on ideas. What are things we D2C space, Thrasio model. So we spent literally around 8 to 9 months on Thrasio model.
Wow.
We did massive number of research, guys. Like I have a folder today where like we have literally done tons of research about India, US, Europe, like because the company was branded. The founder was ex Lazada, so I read about him and etc. We were all companies doing very well, right? So we spent a lot of time in India doing this kind of survey. By the time Mensa also just raised money, we thought this space is becoming hotter, right? So we have to pick up fast. We met a couple of brands. We had a list of almost 600 brands with us, and we realized the market, again, nothing against any of the Thrasio model, but market is limited in India. The entrepreneurs in India are different from the US entrepreneurs, right? Today in India, people want to keep the brand for long term, and you will not see people letting go of the brand that easily. In US, it's a very different culture on that side, right? So we said that this space, and after a lot of companies, we realized that this is not what we'll enjoy long term. It's more of either acquire them 100%, give them full exit, which you don't know what will going to happen then. Second, you do partial exits. India will not let you operate properly, right? People have their own say in the game, which is not going to help us. We dropped that idea completely. We said we'll not do this. Then, in the entire research, in this entire journey of 8 months, we found this idea of ultra fast fashion, and that's where we started reading about Shein, and we went till March last year. We did almost 5 months of deep research. Again, I have a full 100-page document of what Shein is, what Shein has done, how they built, what are their biggest trends, how they saw COVID, how they saw the journey of 10 years, 11 years.
And this is all online research, or this is also like talking to people about
That
Shein?
was second step. So then we talked to employees of Shein in India. Then we talked to consumers. We went to consumer surveys. Did they know? And Shein, if you open even Quora, you will see people say we love Shein, blah blah blah. It was quite exciting. So and then we said, what is Shein? Again, for a consumer, guys, Shein is a fashion company, but that's not true. It's a complete tech company, and that's why they stood against all competition. They stood against the biggest company in the world because they built a much better tech than anybody else could build, and that today defines what they are doing, right? So I think that excited us. That it's a ops heavy, it's a fashion but not fashion, right? Plus growth and everything together, right?
Like crazy numbers.
And obviously when we went and did the consumer survey, we were blown away, man. Like we were like, fuck, dude, what is this? Like this market looks amazing. And then we were surprised with a lot of insights about how these people shop. Like I'll tell you honestly, guys, we think fashion matlab Myntra. That's what we believe, right? That's true. For most people, it's true. But when we talk to Gen Z, it was like Myntra is like Facebook.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That was the word one consumer told me.
Yeah.
I was in Delhi Sarojini Nagar market. And she said, she was Instagram.
That's quite a
And that was the learning for me that, how, again, Facebook has been declining, but Instagram is big massively, right?
Yeah.
We thought, can we pick that space? Can we really build something from India for the world?
Yeah.
Again, Indian supply chain is very different from Chinese supply chain. I think that's where Vinod, my co-founder, he has massive experience. Like I said, he has built Shopper Stop from early stage as one of the early employees. He's seen all this. I don't think I could do it, trust me.
Yeah.
It was Vinod who did the entire thing. So, by starting Numi, then we three of us worked together this idea. We now say, boss, this we have done. None of our tech people. No, it's a tech game. She's a tech company.
Correct.
Now, I can't go and a lot of people told me, oh, hire a CTO. I said, if CTO I hire, he will leave in 2-3 years. Either to pay a bomb salary, which I had no funds to do that, or I have to pay some different way, and either pay him equity.
Yeah.
Better bring a co-founder.
Yeah.
At least you have a bigger skin in the game together.
Yeah.
That's why we got Himanshu as a fourth co-founder. That tech, you pick up, boss. Hustle, growth, supply chain will pick up, but tech you have to build. And Himanshu again comes from deep AI ML experience himself. So he was heading a pretty big team in his last company. So we were very clear that now we have a good 4 people. And guys, again, when I talk good 4 people, I think we took a lot of time to come to how we'll operate.
Makes sense.
Again, touch wood, God's grace. But we all know today that we have to fight, we will argue, but we have to come out with a decision.
Absolutely.
It's not about my idea or someone else's idea.
Yeah.
We have to take one call as a team.
Yeah.
And that is very critical.
Correct.
And that allows us to move very fast. Because we are building ultra fast fashion company. We can't sit on decisions for like 1 month.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to be like your consumers.
Yes.
So Sumit, that's been quite a journey of research and I see that is very data driven, right?
Yes.
Where you're not only as an entrepreneur you started your journey just by researching what is online because that's mainly an outdated story.
Yes.
You also deep dived into consumer research. You deep dived into employee research of the brands that could have been a comparable to you.
Yes.
Right? So that takes a lot of effort and a lot of time. So would you say somehow that planning is you planned a lot before you even executed, or there is an alternative way to look at it, right? And I will start executing, then my plans will iterate and I will move fast and fail fast kind of an approach. So what would you be a preacher of?
Yeah, I think there's nothing right and wrong, Chirag, to be honest with you. It is about what it takes for everyone, right? For us, we all were doing pretty exciting things before this also. I think Himanshu was in a very, very big company and heading a very big team.
Yeah.
I was doing pretty exciting stuff in last company. Shivam was doing his own startup. Vinod was doing his own individual journey.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of things at stake here. We were transparent with you guys.
Yeah.
Right? We had to make sure that when we're putting a step foot forward, we're 100% convinced.
Yeah.
At least that we'll give our best shot together.
Yeah.
And that is very critical. Right? And I feel that, as mature professionals, we spend at least 10 years each in the industry before
Correct.
starting, right?
Correct.
I think it allowed me to, take that time. Because we're not under pressure to start something tomorrow.
Yeah.
We are okay to wait for 1 more month before we start.
Makes sense.
Sharpen the axe.
Yes. The idea was, there are 2 ways. Either you start first, then keep pivoting,
Yeah.
or either you do a lot of research and then try and avoid pivots. Because pivots are painful.
Correct.
Again, pivots are not very easy. And we thought, as mature professionals, can we avoid pivots? Yes, we have done some learnings, which we sharpen in our edges. But I think both of them are right. I think if we were 10 years younger, we would have done what you said. Launch, learn on the job.
Yeah.
Today, we said, there are a lot of risks
Lot
at
of
hand.
risks.
Let's try and mitigate
And
those.
what about the capital? Like, did you guys put your own capital? Did you guys raise first before with the plan that you had done?
So I had a question on that only.
Yeah.
Like, you validated the idea, you talked to the customers, you talked to the employees, so you had clear sense of understanding what you're trying to build. So what was the motive to or what was the next step to start? Raise the fund first to validate from the investors and then start on the idea, or you put in your own capital?
So we did both together parallelly. I would say decent savings. Okay, so we did a first pilot. We were talking investors. We started talking to investors, but we also did a first pilot. Parallel, we put some capital from 1.7 there. Let's try it out. Let's see how the logistics operation work. How does the marketing work? Basics were there. Again, we did not put lot of capital, guys, but decent capital just to test out the overall hypothesis.
Yeah.
How it work at scale from there, because the unit economics have to work. The margins have to work because again the idea was after launching, fine, there are no margins and you're screwed.
Yeah.
Right, so we have to run the basic
And a
diagrams.
tech first business, couple of lakhs is good enough to
Yeah.
try out your
And
hypothesis.
yeah, first there was no tech, trust me.
Yeah.
First it was more about getting the product, getting product from factory to the.
What was your MVP? That is the best exciting part, right? Like,
Was it,
Yeah,
was it on WhatsApp? Like,
like the first fucking sale, right? That.
I think we did not do any sale. We just did a lot of focus groups before launching.
Okay.
So we just got the images and said, will you buy it?
Ah.
And what's the price you would pay?
Yeah.
What kind of price is where you expect? So there was no other thing we did. We didn't even have the website, didn't have the app. But we just had show designs to focus groups.
In WhatsApp, or how would you?
Yeah, we
spread
had
it?
1 or 2 people in our team. We just got 2 people and we said, ask your friends.
Ah.
जैसे पूछना पूछो, ask on WhatsApp, on Instagram, whatever you do. We just made an Instagram page, but we didn't do anything on Instagram also. But we said just test out and just test the price points. And I think my biggest learning is that we did a lot of consumer deep understanding. I think we spent a lot of time there. We took a lot of time in talking to a TG.
Like what fashion strikes them, what kind of dresses, what colors.
Exactly,
like
because
that.
everybody when we went out to raise funds was like, why can't Myntra do this? Why can't this do this? And we had to have answers to this. And being transparent with you, we had a tough journey raising our funds.
Of course.
So, but I think that also made us very hands-on. So I'm extremely happy that I didn't get funding so easily. I had to really prove my execution before getting the names I wanted on capital.
Yeah.
But it's also a testimony to the kind of problem that you are solving, because a person with your kind of background should never have a hard money raising on an easy idea. Like you would only have a hard time raising money because when your idea is hard to execute or it's a big enough problem. So
Yeah, I would say this is actually today I look at it this way only. But that day I think we were a different world, to be honest with you. I think somewhere we were arrogant, being transparent. The kind of profiles we four had, we thought we can raise, at least we can get decent money to start the business.
Correct.
We heard at least 70, 80 no's.
Wow. And for every founder who has raised money, I've heard the same thing. At least 70 to 80.
My first investor wrote check in 20 minutes.
Yeah, this is common. Whenever we have also done this, the guys who never look at the decks
He didn't see the deck.
are the ones who put money.
He didn't see the
The
deck.
one who sees the deck.
That's historically true. Yeah.
He didn't see the deck
That's
also.
for us
Yeah.
at least.
And,
For us also.
He just came with a reference check of mine. That's it.
Yeah.
He just had a reference check from my existing portfolio company, and the founder had extremely high words for you. Take my money and execute what you want to do.
Yes.
And trust me, man. Like for 4 months after he give me that, like money came later, but 4 months, I literally was building business, doing all these things, and he was like scared. Where's my money? I said,
Yeah.
money is lying in the bank with zero money invested.
Yeah.
Money is still same. Nothing has gone. He said, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
No, but personally, honestly, also, I'm a very big fan of what you are trying to build here, because I was very curious about the Shein story since it began in India. It was very visible. You could not ignore it if you were anywhere remotely connected to people who were into fashion. So I only saw two kind of people. Ones who looked down on Shein, were like, this is for people who don't have money. And there were a set of people who had money but were fans of Shein. Like, if you ask them, Arya, do you remember there was a brand called Shein? You will hear a physical pain in their voice that Shein got banned in
My
India.
sister is one of them.
Physical pain you will hear. Like
That is-
such was the loyalty and rage and the mind share that they managed to capture, which is very clear if you see. It's like a physical story of a TikTok story, like physical version of a TikTok story. Like you can very well see that there is some AI play behind this, because how do you build such kind of virality and loyalty? It can't be just product quality. It goes much beyond that. So that would actually put me back into my childhood days. So my father was a cloth retailer he still does that business, and I always stayed away from the business. He kept me away from the business. But there was this one time when he was not physically well, so I had to sit on the shop for some days, and I would observe like what kind of stuff was happening. So, an anecdote of how AIs exist in very nascent forms, right? So these people who were helps on the shop were there since 15 years.
Okay.
So now it's a small town in the district of Sonipat, so everyone knows everyone. So the understanding of the customer is deep. They have been in the business for long enough under guidance of my father. You can assume it's a very seamless, efficient setup. So one day inventory came from the wholesaler and they started opening to put it in the racks. Okay. Now small towns being small towns, the cost prices are never shared with the people who are helping.
Yes.
Right. So I had the receipt of what is the cost price of each of them. And now the person who's been working there for 15 years would just take it out and say, this is going to sell for 500 rupees. And now my dad has told me that whatever price you see on the list, if there is put a 30% markup on top of that, and if what he's saying is similar to that, then just approve it. You understand? Like if it's a 300 rupee item,
Wow.
if the person is saying we'll sell it for 400, which is about 390, just approve it. I am not kidding. The delta was like plus minus 5% every time. He was just looking at saying we'll sell it for this much, and I would do what are you saying? This is coming similar. This is crazy. How is this happening?
That is predictive pricing.
What is it? He's just looking at the product and it's running through his head.
Yeah.
How consumers in this small town are going to react to it, and what is it that they will shell out for this?
True. Absolutely true.
Tell me if any company has this tech, and I can tell you Shein had something like this and in their hands that they could look at something and predict what it will sell it for, who will buy this, how do we need to advertise this, and we know everything about it.
Essentially, not only demand prediction, like what will sell, but how much will it sell for? Pricing prediction as well, right?
I mean, that thing stayed with me forever, and when AI phenomena happened to fashion with, let's say, Shein, so I was like, oh.
Also, on that note, I don't know if dynamic pricing is a thing in fashion, right? Like,
It is.
it's happening.
It's happening. There's a lot of tech available now for dynamic pricing.
I've seen that on Myntra.
Yeah, exactly. And you also have now different layers of customers, personalization also.
Okay.
You and me will send different pricing same time.
Wow.
It's all there now.
That's crazy.
Not on D2C, but mostly all the big companies where designs are very much, you do the predict.
But like, for example, if the price discovery happens to the customer, like the people talk about what they bought from where and all, like at least in France how much and all, and women talk, right? So all I'm saying is, for example, if the price discovery happens and there is a massive delta, don't you feel that there is suddenly a bad taste in mouth? That why did I pay extra? Why is the app showing me this? This is something which happens when we see Uber on dynamic pricing.
I'll tell you, our consumers don't share pricing with anybody. Generally.
Oh, okay.
Generally.
I think you're talking about a luxury
Yes.
brand, I would say.
No, I'm talking about mass
No.
segment.
Mass
For example,
is-
I don't think
let's say I'm buying this Leaf watch for $2,000 and someone else is buying for $2,400.
People only flex when they get a huge discount. They want to flex that I got this for so much cheaper
Exactly.
Yeah.
than you. But I think nobody is like generally discussing like ये मेरे को generally इतने का मिला. But when you get a 60% discount, then that's when you flex. कि you are not getting the discount, but I got it.
But
You
fast
see the-
fashion
I
is
don't
one
think
thing.
people are very secretive with their fashion buying. Like they
Exactly.
don't want to show
I'll
it
tell
to
you,
you.
I'll tell you my insights here. And which was very, very unique, which we got from one of the customers only. Now, generally, when I was in Rocket, we were told that, if a product has more reviews, the sales will be very high.
Correct.
That's typical e-commerce
Pushing.
marketplace
Yeah.
logic, right?
Trust, yeah.
Gen Z is a complete opposite. If you have too many reviews,
Okay.
Yeah.
they will never buy it.
ये तो घिस गया.
No,
They must
it's
want
good. It's massy.
Yeah.
It's
It's
massy.
It's massy.
It's not
Very
statement
cool.
piece. So the lingo is statement piece.
Statement
चाहिए मेरे को.
piece.
Correct.
Wow.
So you have to have 4-5 reviews which are optimal to convert, but not like 1,000 reviews.
Yeah.
And again, as per our business model, no design can have 1,000 reviews.
Yeah.
Which means we are not fast fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because design has to go out by time. Our average time of a design is 26 days. Yeah, that's my average time of a design. Unless it's really super selling at rocket speeds.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and you may generally have, right now you have like 500 designs launching a week.
Yeah, but now we are on 5 designs per week, but we have almost 5,000 designs live now.
Like,
So we scaled to around 5,000 designs now. And again, one important thing is we have to also make sure we keep churning out designs
Okay.
because that allows me to give the freshness in the consumer side.
Correct. So I was reading about Shein, like, so they used to have like 50,000 designs or more, like in lakhs and all. So the statement piece you mentioned, like, it was like a game for the users to find like the gem in the haystack, right? So they used to like spend more time on the app finding those statement pieces that they can buy for a great bargain price or something like that.
It's a quest.
So it's a quest kind
It's
of
a
thing.
quest.
So that is another game that brings the customer.
I have a very interesting question. So I really like the consumer insight part, right? So for a business like yours, right, when you have done all this research, now you understand the consumer also that this is what they want to buy, this is the price point. How do you do the first like initial setup? Like how many designs am I churning out to just test the market out, or just conduct, let's say, first 1,000 sales? How do you start with that process, like for a normal person?
Again, I think I was very arrogant before starting the business. Realized it when it went live. I think it's a journey, to be honest with you. If you had met me last year, same night, I would say I would launch with 10,000 designs on day one. That was my logic, and I was completely doing random calculations for that. We realized that to get the kind of designs live, you need enough traffic also. Otherwise, you're going to build inventory.
Correct.
Right? We don't build inventory, right? So we have to make sure that there are enough. That's why I got sessions before the session, like this meeting, right? But the sessions, number of sessions is very important. On day one, you're scaling your business. So you need to make sure every design gets enough eyeballs to make your purchase, prediction model.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll get screwed because you cannot build any model without so much of the designs being there, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
So we launched with 500 designs on day one. I'll tell you, and that was extremely curated. And the worst thing we did that day was because there was no data behind it, and the inventory is the biggest which never sold till now.
The first 500.
First time it never sold, and we put inventory on it. And because we were starting,
That would have been such a shocker.
So I tell you, if we look at today, even today, our inventory of last 1 year, which is still holding in books, is still high. But my inventory, which is launching now, has just like 8 days of inventory.
Very fast.
So we have to not tell our investors about this is old sales we have done, which we'll clean someday. The new ones are working very well.
Yeah. It is.
And I think in general, like the way Facebook, Instagram algorithm of ads also behaves is that it will corner 2-3 SKUs, put them on the top, and the rest 97 SKUs that you have out of 100, they will never get the views.
Yeah.
So now you have to get those 97 views deliberately through.
So I'll tell you,
Moving people inside
again,
the
the research
website.
we found one more thing. So this Pareto principle, 80-20. But in fast fashion, it's not that. It's 90-10 or 95-5. And it's all secondary data, guys. I'm reading on from social, like different researches. 5% designs drive 90% of your sales. Now, when you talk about the entire supply chain tech, that's very important. Because how do you scale those 5% designs in a very short time to a very, very high peak? Because the cycle is very short of trend. It's at best one month.
Yeah, it won't be relevant.
If you're taking 1 month to build it up, customer get in 1 day, 1 year, 1 month, and say 15 days more.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, someone said something to me recently. They were like, "Hey, what this thing that you're talking about? It's very like 2000 and late." I was like, "Fuck, what are you saying?" like there are slangs to pointing out things which are out and no more relevant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even so we also do something like all our coupon codes are all Gen Z slangs. We never use this new me 10, new me 10. We don't use all these coupon codes.
Yeah.
All our codes are very different.
Yeah.
And that's why it's always we only want certain set of people to buy from us, and we want to talk to them only. Again, there are people who buy from us who are not in TG, but as a business, we want to have a communication style to a particular TG only.
Yeah.
Yeah, would you say this whole business is built for the gram? Is there a correlation between people's activity on Instagram and their intensity of buying on New Me? Are people buying for the Instagram or for their real life or both?
I think it's a mix of both. I have seen that. So I have defined it in 3 personas in our business. Again, we are going deep there, guys. It's still like 11 months only. So I still don't have to go more deep, and we are already working with on doing more research there. But I feel that 3 parts. One is that the metro city of India, which is the girls of Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, the metro cities. There is tier 1, not tier 2. cities like Jaipur, Indore, Chandigarh, Pune, all
Yeah.
students and decent sized people. Then there's like markets like Patna, tier 3. Again, Lucknow is tier 1 or maybe tier 2, I don't know, we'll have to classify. Lucknow, Vadodara, Surat, Ahmedabad, these are markets which surprised us.
Yeah.
Okay, now if you look at the consumer of Delhi, Bangalore, Bombay, they are mostly Instagram driven. They are Instagram driven, but they are also consumers in the tier 2, tier 3 who want to be on Instagram. And I'll give one more insight to you here. See, the point is here that Indian consumers or Indian fashion always been laggard. Okay, we were told पहले US में आएगा, फिर 6 में India में आएगा. All the global brands should come in India after 6 months. मतलब जो वहाँ नहीं बिकता था ना, वो इंडिया ले आते थे. That was our consumer market. To be honest with you, when I was growing up.
Yeah.
That is the very typical we heard in India कि यार अभी तो यूरोप में लॉन्च हुआ है, 6 में इंडिया में आएगा. Nike shoe launch in US, 6 months बाद आपको दिल्ली में CP में मिलेगा उस स्टोर में.
Correct.
Right? I think that has changed with data. Today, a consumer is highly aspirational to us. A Gen Z customer wants a very good design. Again, she don't have much money to pay pretty high money on that, but also wants a good experience. And that is very. And again, I will tell you again. This is all to a customer we talk every day. We can't name them, but one of the customers, she told when we have one intern who is like a guinea pig, okay, in a company, and whenever she posts on Instagram, and in 30 minutes she has no like, you can see a drop in efficiency in office.
Oh, wow.
And a day when she has got massive likes, you see her on 7th heaven. Like she is extremely effective.
This is Black Mirror.
And this
That's
again, guys, understand one thing. And this again, we're talking to a lot of people every day. We're getting again, there's no real science behind it. It's more of consumer talking we do every day.
Yeah.
This generation is very low on confidence.
That's true.
Yeah, for them, these are moments of truth.
Outside validation is
They want more of external validation. Why do you think influencer marketing is working very well in India?
exactly.
Why do you think everyone wants to become influencer today? There's a reason for it.
I was gonna come to that actually. So yeah,
Sorry.
when I even visit your page, like whenever I see Instagram, I don't see any branded content there. Like most of it is just people's faces. The new me working with influencers, and that's where I think some.
So I'll tell you one thing, by the way. We don't work with influencers there.
Okay.
Most of them are organic.
Organic.
Yes. So I think what we've done is we hardly spend less than 5% budget on influencers directly.
Wow.
All our dressing is picked up by influencers themselves, and they wear it and tag us
And the time.
and they tagging us. We have not spent more than 5% of monthly budget on these projects. Trust me. But what we learned is build a very strong content with the brand. So what we've done is even the logo, the story has been more about these things.
Correct.
And that's the reason why we could go to 80K followers in less than a year. All organic was this season.
God.
Like I think was fascinating. We're lucky to have a team like that who knows this space closely. They know the Gen Z psychology. They keep experimenting it. So those have been our learnings here. To be honest with you, influencers definitely very. But I'll tell you again, and this was again our biggest learning here. It's like the 90s of India's superstars. Okay, in 90s there were certain big celebrities who were endorsing all the brands.
Yep. Exactly.
And we knew they will not trust the brand because this brand to paisa milta hai, kuch bhi kar raha hai.
Correct.
That's the reality.
Correct.
Today, that's a gene on fashion influencers. One day target do brand A, next day brand B, third day brand C, fourth day brand D.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the consumer is very smart. They will not trust the brand. Bole, this is fake. See, again, why I'm talking about Gen Z? This is generation who has seen 4G. Guys, I have seen dial-up in my life. I don't know if you've seen dial-ups.
64 hours, 64 hours.
Yeah.
I have seen dial-ups where I had to call the service provider, "Bhaiya, net nahi aa raha hai aaj." And Gmail used to like keep going round and round and round, and like it would take ages to load the email, right?
Yeah.
This just has gone with 4G, actually.
Yeah.
They have just transformed to 4G and mobile screen, right?
Yeah.
So what we learned is that you have to make sure these customers are very treated differently, and that is our learning. And one more insight is our first success. Again, talking about last year, August month, we did a satire on Gen Z,
Oh, nice.
and that day my website crashed.
Just because of traffic, shit.
Yes.
Traffic.
And that lady, that girl or that influencer is not a fashion influencer at all. She's not a fashion person, but she just does satire on Gen Z psychologies and all that. And that was the first moment of truth for me. How do I build my brand? And that's the reason why we don't spend time and money with fashion influencers. We work with different art forms. We work with dancer groups. Again, like I want to share this story, which I think I'm personally very proud of. That we picked up a Northeast region's dance group, and when we reached out to them, we literally cried, yeah, and they were emotional. They said, "You're the first brand to reach out to us."
Wow.
Because dance को कोई
Exactly.
fashion brand नहीं करता.
Correct.
And बोले what you want me to do? Nothing. I said nothing. I want to just you do what you're good at, that is dance. We want to give our clothes to you.
Yeah.
So like tigers, tigers. If you don't like, no problem.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That was our, I think, my personal, and I wrote on LinkedIn also about it, by the way. I wrote about it, how
Yeah.
I feel one time I felt it was a high moment was, at least I chained a group of girls who are not privileged to, no brands are going to them, but we are changing their life.
Yeah.
And they went from 10K followers to 1 million followers now.
Million?
Yes.
Amazing.
They are crazy. Their content is amazing. And we
My
have
God.
learned from them.
Wow.
But again, these are things we feel sometimes, highs of my journey.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's why we work with a lot of dance groups.
Yeah.
We have 4-5 dance groups we work with, and which is where we don't spend money on more of fashion influencers. Just to answer your question.
Very cool.
That is so cool. And
So
very
I mean,
actually.
out of the context, but since you mentioned logo, like who designed this logo? Is that a gecko chameleon? Because I saw the logo for the first time on your website today, and
Okay.
I was intrigued. Like
It's a chameleon, yeah.
it's a chameleon. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, when we look at a fashion brand, generally it's a polished logo, black, white, and all those things, and it's a very different branding altogether. Like, any idea, like why?
Yeah, I think it's a long story, but I can keep it short. Guys, so I think one thing which again I want to touch that time was that the role of mentors. Okay, I want to tell about mentor here. His name is Guru, and we knew at founders we knew we're not good at branding. This we don't know this. We have never done branding in life. We can't learn it in one night. Right? We can learn operations, we learn marketing, but not branding. So we got him as an advisor, and he's a champion of branding. And this logo, again, if you look at the logo deeply, it's pixelated.
Yeah.
It's chameleon. Again, when we went deep in our consumer research, we found that why to bound with one color, why to bound Gen Z with, and again, if you read about Gen Z, they're still evolving,
Yeah.
right? They're still not. You can't say, okay, Gen Z wants polish. Again, you look at polished brands, they're very big, but they're built for millennials,
Got it.
right? We wanted to build a brand which pixelation means digital native.
Just
We are digital first brand, right? This chameleon was again freedom. There is no one to do this brand.
okay. So it's not just green.
No.
Oh wow.
So if
Awesome.
you look at right now, it's
Yeah.
a Pride month. See the logo right now.
Okay.
Oh.
Now if you look at my store, it's a complete different color.
Perfect.
And the idea of thinking about it, if you open next store, a complete new color will come there.
Yeah.
Again, the logo will be there, isn't it?
Got
But it will be evolving. And again, the idea was why to box themselves because they're still uncovering. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
So those are our learnings. And this logo, the agency who designed it, there are two ladies, extremely, I would say, smart on that side. They gave us 4-5 options. I'll tell you a story of this logo in a little short. 5 options they gave us, and this was ki ye nahi karna. This logo is not
Yeah,
happening.
correct. I mean, on the start you would say,
And Himanshu, my co-founder, was like, "Boss, Girgit, it's so negative. How can you have negative branding? Yeah, it doesn't hurt us." And we couldn't convince him. 3 of us couldn't convince him, and we said, "Yeah, this looks a little edgy, right?" And we got Guru on the call. Guru, you have to come and explain Himanshu. And Guru says, "What's your problem, Himanshu?" And he said, "This is negative and all that." He asked a simple question. Does it make you uncomfortable? He said, "Yes. My work is done. This is a perfect work."
awesome.
Oh.
If it's making you uncomfortable, that's a perfect start.
Yeah.
It will get noticed. It will get
Yeah, correct,
it will
correct.
get cashed by people. And again, guys, that was our learning. See, we didn't have money to keep burning and branding and all that. We had to
Yeah.
always find hacks to do it in a lean manner, but effective manner.
Awesome.
That is so fantastic.
This is very, very like unique to fashion, is what I would say. Like,
Correct.
my girlfriend is deep into fashion, so I keep asking her, like, whatever things that we see on ramp in these international shows, like, it makes no sense. Like, they will never see light of the day.
Yeah.
90% of the stuff will never see light of the day. So she told me that it's not really about seeing light of the day. It's really about setting a tone for this
Yes.
season.
Yes.
And it has to make people uncomfortable. It has to be a conversation topic, else the ramp is failed. So the ramp's motive is that it should create a lot of conversations and it should define the mood of the season. For example, like this year early or towards the end of last year, there is this brand, I've totally forgot the name, but they came out with pixelated hoodies. Did you see that?
Yes.
Like, it was the hot topic on Instagram for 7 days. It's a proper hoodie, but the way they've made cuts on it, it looks pixelated. It's a full hoodie which is pixelated.
Wow.
It was epic. And
Like
if
one
you
of the
can
brand I showed you, like it's a 3D bag but looks like a 2D
like
bag.
a hoodie bag.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I saw that.
Freaky.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so it started with the iPhone 14 launch actually. Apple had something on Dynamic Island, which was on pixelation. From there, it became a huge, good story for across the world.
Okay, now so I think that's covered the journey of New Me, and I would like to go a little deep on this new section that I'm introducing. It's called the dark side, right? So in this side, what we are going to talk about is playing the devil's advocate yourself, right? Which were the real challenges, right, in the journey, in the sense that you tried something and it failed massively, that it literally shattered the whole foundations of your belief of building the brand, and then how did you recover from that? So it's simply deep diving into those moments.
I think that there are 2-3 times that we faced it in the last 11 months.
Yeah.
First, before using the funding only, when we did our maths of economics. So when we did our first economics of business, we had certain numbers in our mind. We did our first dry run, and the costs were nowhere there. We were like, shit, fuck, dude, कैसे बनाएंगे numbers?
Yeah.
This cost is nowhere close to what we have built in our business plan and all that. We literally had 3 days of shit. We are भाई तो नहीं बनेगा शायद. नहीं, this is not possible.
Existential crisis
This
is
was the
printed
first
on paper.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. The prices, the logistic costs were not matching at all.
Yeah.
Then we went to again drawing board. What have we done? So again, that day we learned think first principle. We know it had some bias, and he was saying ऐसे ही आएगा ये, and I was thinking some other way. Again, we found a right way after talking to a lot of people in the industry, but we found that we were wrong. So even though you're coming from a lot of experience, you don't have to be biased, right? So that was first thing. It took us 3-4 days to recover the shop, but we figured out there's a way to get things done.
Yeah.
And the number we took were actually right, mostly. It was like here are 5% here and there. But that 4 days of sudden bias coming in, we just like, fuck man, nahi banega.
Wow. Yeah.
That was one. Second that happened, this was more dangerous. So one of our designs became superstar.
Yeah.
In one day, we got like 500 orders of that one design.
Wow.
This was early journey. And our supplier in China, he said, I have enough stock, don't worry. We kept taking orders and we just ship the product.
Because it was inventory light mode.
And we said ship the products. He said next day, he said, I shipped the products to your warehouse and everything. And 3 days later, we get our products in our warehouse in Delhi. It's all junk.
Oh shit.
It's all junk.
Junk as in like it's bad quality?
It's not there. It's something, nothing that is
It's
there.
rubbish.
Oh!
He was just lying to us.
Fake shipment.
Fake shipment. And the guy just ghosted us. And that we were just 1% in China team that time. And she was again, COVID was there, etc. So he's not traveling that time.
No
That's
return
it.
policy and chargebacks from China.
You can't.
Doesn't
You are
say.
very
Doesn't
small.
say. Doesn't
You are
say.
very small. You can fight in courts. Nothing will hold listen that, right?
Yeah.
Again, that's where Vinod's help came in. Vinod built the entire design in 4 days in India. And we served each of our customers. It took
Wow.
extra time. It took
Wow.
us 5 days extra to serve the customers. But we made sure we delivered 80% of the orders.
Wow.
And that was our first, second existential crisis. That was ये क्या हुआ? This was the least expected thing we will do.
Yeah.
Because this partner was working for us from long, like last 1 month. Like
Yeah.
the business was third month only.
Yeah.
So, but this partner was working for last 2 months. He was responding everything, and this guy just completely backstabbed us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was, I think, second toughest moment. Yeah, matlab, that 7-8 days, we were like, this was last thing expected,
Yeah.
right? And I think third, which happened to a lot of startups, was the SPB fiasco. I remember I was traveling to Bombay to meet Vinod and the warehouse and all that. And at night 11:30, Shivam calls me, SPB में कुछ issue हुआ है. And luckily we made a small wire immediately that time. That wire was the only wire we could make. Because by the time I landed in Bombay, it was already 2 hours late and SPB had blocked the transfers. So next day morning, we wake up and say that money may never come. Twitter was buzzing, it couldn't go bankrupt, etc. We said we only have money for 1 month. Because we only wired that much money.
Yeah.
And that's all money. We have money, but it's locked.
Yeah.
That 4 days
Terrible.
were hell. My worst weekends after a long time. That weekend was like Monday, please, US will open, we'll get to know the bank is going to survive or not survive. But thank God, like, the bailout was done with zero and any startup. But that was, we thought, yeah, ये तो plan ही नहीं किया था.
Yeah.
Paras and I we were in US back at that
SF.
particular time. SF.
We did an emergency podcast just on this.
Yeah,
out
we
of
were
San
there, and
Francisco.
like there were so many founders in SF back then, and like at that point of time, like someone has raised $25 million, someone has 50, whatever different amounts, and everyone was stuck. Like they couldn't do anything, and investors were also like
Yeah.
consoling.
Did you
them,
get
like,
calls from your investors, panic calls? What?
No, there were no panic calls, but investors said, guys, you have to wait and watch.
Yeah.
okay.
Like, again, I think all investors stood by us.
Yeah.
They said it's like, yeah, it's no one's fault. They also didn't knew it. We did not do deliberately.
Yeah.
It was a very trusted bank, very, very reliable partner,
Yeah.
and one of the best people we work with.
Yeah.
So I think it was just unfortunate.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Did you hedge your funds now? Now are you like saving in different banks?
Yeah, we did for some time, but I think now we've done a different model there. We have tried to keep more money in India whenever we need, because earlier we used to keep everything in the US accounts.
Yeah. Makes sense. And Shubham, you had some questions regarding challenges Sumit is facing with respect to influencers and everyone.
Correct, yeah. So actually, around the virality only that you mentioned, like how are you, like, what is the process of getting this a product to virality? Like, can you control it after a point? Like, let's say we push in influencers, or how does that angle
Is
work?
there a science behind it?
Is there a science behind it as such?
Yeah, I think what I have learned is that you can't create a content by saying it will go viral.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody can. Algorithms are.
I don't think anybody can say that this content going to go viral. It will pick up in next 2-3 days, and you have to just be on top of it. So I think we had seen certain of successes like this, where a couple of content has gone to like 7-8 million views also.
Wow.
Again, my team they do a fabulous job there, and they understand this lingos and all that, so which allows us to play in that term. Again, as I said, this logo gave me so much freedom.
Correct.
This logo, this branding gave me so much freedom. I could do what I wanted to. There's no boundaries I built. I can use the word fuck on my social media also. No one cares.
Yeah.
Right? I could tell what I want to do. I could talk about boyfriend breakups. I could talk about how to do mental wellness. All on my social media without thinking of it's not my brand. It doesn't matter. And I think we tell ourselves we are a very small company, guys.
Yeah.
It's a day zero for us. Things like that.
Yeah.
Whatever we do has a zero impact.
Correct.
Can we try it? We're still in a learning mode.
So you would still do the trend analysis, like
That
what
we do,
keywords
that
are picking
That
up.
we do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But I'm saying about on social media side to answer
Yeah,
your question.
yeah,
On social media, we don't have this definitive color guideline.
Nothing like
This.
that.
We said, boss, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
This I don't want to do in my life.
Yeah.
I want to always keep exploring, and that's the reason why this logo was thinking about long term. I think that when we picked up, this was like, this gives me so much opportunity to play. This gives me so much of freedom to be a creative person when I want to be.
Yeah.
Correct.
So Sumit, you have been into execution phase, like executive. You have been as an investor, now as a founder. What are the core difference as a founder that you haven't seen like previous phase of your life?
Yeah, I think I have been a founder before this also. Honestly, in both the companies, be
Rocket
it
and-
Miro or Rocket,
Okay.
I was like an early employee without founder title.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
I was like number one, number two employee everywhere.
Got it.
So there was no title of founder, but I work with the founders extremely close.
Yeah.
Right.
And
so
across functions.
and across functions. That you are a journalist hustler
Yeah.
doing things, multiple things from one like I can Rocket my business. We're building the RAS in Myanmar. We had 10 people team. Yeah. In Miro, when I joined Miro in India, Miro had 12 people, 13 people team.
Wow.
That's the size of
Yeah,
business.
exactly.
We had one client in India that time.
Now it's $1 billion.
No, billion dollars was became there also. India was like
India was-
nothing.
Yeah.
India was just starting.
Yeah.
And from there, we become 12 plus employees in India. We managed entire Asia business for Miro. So it was a journey for me that side.
Got it. So was it natural for you to when you started uni, the role part, or you had like different kind of learnings when you started?
Yeah, I think I owe it to Rocket India.
Yeah.
I think I personally think that was the best decision of my life I took to join that kind of university.
Okay.
I would say I was very scared, to be honest with you. A lot of people scared me. Rocket is tough. I think I had my fair share of learnings, my fair share of exciting moments. I think for me that was not a challenge. I think to answer, I think last point on which I just missed on that side, the investor side. I think I can be better investor now.
Okay.
I think I was just talking today just to some person before this meeting, and I said I had some investments are very bad investments, yeah. And I said, and when I go and see, why did I invest? What is the business there? There is no business.
Yeah.
There is no business there. In next 10 years, the founder will not build a business.
Yeah.
But I invested.
Yeah.
And today I think again, it's not like I'm perfect, but I think at least I have become a little bit more pragmatic on
Yeah.
how the business will
Right.
evolve.
Yeah.
I think that learning has come more. Again, I think it's a journey. But I think that has been, if today I have to invest, I think I can be little better than before.
No, plus I've heard from a few people who have worked at Rocket is that if you have worked in Rocket, especially in a leadership role, like your benchmark of crazy is different. Like
Yeah.
they can shut down a $10 million business overnight. They can start a bigger business overnight.
My God.
Like, it's
It's out of
just
it.
a bunch of decisions. It's very binary
One
in that
decision.
sense. It's one decision away.
Is there a common
Wrap the business.
Is there a common parallel like what Therasio model has, like House of Brands and Rocket?
Rocket is not house of brands. Rocket is never house. Rocket is simple. Copy and execute. If you look at my first day at Rocket, the onboarding set PPT, the first slide was very clear.
Yeah.
It says idea is just 1%.
Got it.
19% execution. That is what I think I've imbibed in myself.
Yeah.
I don't come. If someone says this is idea, I said bullshit. Tell me I will execute this.
Yeah.
That's what I want to understand. I'm more keen on learning the execution other than just doing the idea. बहुत idea आते हैं इंडिया में यार.
Yeah.
Ideas are so free.
Yeah.
We're a billion population.
Yeah.
And Rocket is as a house makes money by creating the value by market expansion or by exit.
Exits. Mostly, if you look
That's
at Rocket, their journey has been always mostly exits.
What has been their best sort of product they've launched, like in terms of?
No, yeah, they have multiple. They have like
Food Panda? I would say.
Food Panda is there. Lazada was a big
Food Panda
exit.
was by Rocket.
Yeah, Food Panda. Even
Jabong was
Jabong was Rocket in India.
Yeah, crazy.
Lazada in Southeast Asia was the biggest deal. They sold for $2 billion that time
Yeah.
in Southeast Asia to Alibaba. I think in Europe there are a lot of successes.
Yeah.
Again, they have their own down moments as well. I think the model is not they're trying to. I think some pivoting. I don't know. I'm not followed them in a long time, but I think I feel if you look at Quora, it's filled of negative about Rocket. Again, it depends on each person to person. Yeah, I think I spent almost 3.5-4 years there.
Enough for you.
Yeah, but the way you are building out tech for Newme, like I've always felt that companies that have come from West to India haven't like there is this whole hover around, oh, you have to Indianize a lot of things for India. It is true in a lot of businesses, but I've hardly seen it happening in tech businesses. Like, what does Instagram do specially for India? I don't think so anything. Like the same tech model thrown across geographies ends up creating virality.
Correct.
Correct? Snapchat blew up in India. We are nothing for Snapchat as a country. We don't matter in their PNL. Correct. But it works like a charm. So are you building Numi with that thought? Essentially, it's a tech business at heart. So if you crack India, you are looking at a global dream of 100 billion.
Yes,
India
that's
was
so-
100 billion.
Yeah, on that, like, what's
But
the
goal
next?
was-
true. So that's true.
What's
So I'll
the
tell you how we're looking at it right now. I think it has to be about supply at supply tech as a moat over time, right? Now supply chain only two countries control right now, either China mostly, or then India is trying to compete on that side. Then you have Bangladesh, Vietnam, which are again hubs for, but again they're very high MOQ driven businesses. You will see denims very heavy in that Bangladesh.
Right.
Again, Vietnam's picking up there, right? India is a market which is closest to us. We are born and brought up here. We have a team here. Everything is there, right? For us, how we look at it and how we aspire to be is, let's crack India first. Let's make sure that we are able to build supply chain in India. Again, I'll differentiate again one point that you made right now, Paras. Instagram, Uber are not ops. Uber still is ops heavy business, so they have to realize it wrong. But Instagram is not an ops heavy business. Understand this again.
Agreed.
Whatever needs ops on the ground, you have to Indianize it. Because culture essentially comes there.
Yeah.
I've seen Rocket,
Agreed.
same thing, yeah. Lazada versus Daraz were very different. The cultures were different from people, yeah. The warehouses were differently operated. I had seen Lazada warehouse also myself, but I've seen Daraz warehouse also myself. Our markets are very different people-wise, right? Uber did same thing, right? Uber, till the time they were starting in India, first one market, couple cities, they had a very lean team in India.
Right.
But the moment they wanted to scale in India, they had to go work with drivers, work with the legal authorities to make sure it's compliant over time, right? And that is where the game changes, yeah. So Instagram is more about Twitter. They got screwed between, right? The policies of Indian government, they have to adhere to it.
Yeah.
The moment you say, I'll not do it, it's our country, our law of land prevails,
Yeah.
right? So I think the business where we are in, we have to build first for India with the Indian supply chain. And that is a massive effort. Once we build this, again, India is a competitive market. You have good factories, good supply chain, etc. But it's not digitized. It's not tech indicative what we want to build, right?
Right.
Once you build that, then you have your market to open. Then what stops you? Nothing. Except capital, nothing stops you then.
True.
So so this is something that has been done by Swiggy and all. Like, since you were telling that the factories are not digitized and all those things, so they give that SaaS product to all these restaurants where they can manage the order inventory and all those things. So are you also planning to go on that side? Like, you build that SaaS for factories in India so that they can manage the inventory and the order.
No.
The
So
orders
we don't want
that
to
come
go
on
to
you.
SaaS right now. See again, yeah, there are already companies doing that. There's companies like Fashion Czar and all that doing that already.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, the way we look at it is very differently. See, we are not solving for everybody, first of all. We are solving for ultra fast fashion. And again, we don't need thousands of factories, guys. We just need few hundred good factories.
Yeah.
Okay? And again, the way we look at business is very simple. It is demand and supply matching.
Yeah.
Without demand, supply will not work.
Correct.
With zero demand, the supply will not work again.
Correct.
If your supply has to be always having front end loading of data in supply chain.
Correct.
Otherwise, you will build something which no one wants.
No.
Correct.
Right? So when you talk, because we discuss a lot of it with VCs as well.
Right.
We always tell them that the way we look at it is it is an end-to-end loop
Yeah.
in the business we're building in. We're not going to build a company for 10,000 factories or 10,000 SaaS products. No. We will build for say 100, 200 factories in India at best.
Yeah.
But that will be deeply integrated.
Deeply. Yeah.
That is where you create that. Again, you can onboard new factory.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow we want to open SaaS, but that Bible will build a competition against me.
Yeah.
That is where I'll create value for my investors and for myself.
Makes sense.
The real value is not the consumer selling. The real value is how can I become nimble and more efficient at scale.
Correct.
I mean, I read somewhere that H&M has $8 billion worth of dead inventory.
Possible. Quite possible.
I was like, write it off, and you're looking at the worst financial year.
No, that's possible.
of history.
And if you look at, I'll tell you example. Yeah, look at this company called Shop Cider or Cider. They have built in 2 years a massive company. In 2 years, and again, very focused Gen Z brand for US markets.
Yeah.
Founders come from China. Look at they built up in 2.5 years. Again, a great inspiration.
Yeah.
You have to be focused. I think that's what we believe, that you can't build everything for everyone.
Yes.
Like there are times when people say, why only clothing? Sumit,
Yeah.
you should launch shoes also.
Yeah.
Sumit launch jewelry also. Sumit launch this also.
Category.
I was like, I will do where I can keep inventory minimum.
Yeah.
If I have to build inventory, that is not my business core focus.
Right.
Correct.
I will let it go. Because my company value or my fundamental business is inventory light model will only succeed as code.
Rest everything blows up, right?
And if you look at global companies in fashion, I think you're saying that fashion to hamesha bikta hai. But the biggest disaster happened in fashion only.
Yeah.
And there's only one reason.
Inventory. I'm just surprised that. Do you think that there is a scope of recycling or rethreading of this dead inventory, like this $8 billion of inventory? Like if there was a machine, a factory which takes in all these clothes and then rethreads it and essentially puts them back in the supply chain. Have you guys heard about that? Or
Yeah, there
that seems like an obvious gap.
lot of research happening on that side,
Yeah.
Chirag. It is still, I think it's still a very early stage.
Yeah.
I think there's some companies coming in India also now, they call it pre-love products. This is now picking up. But again, yeah, India is very different.
What is that exactly? What is free?
Like pre-love means someone is used it before and you can just get it to thrift.
Oh, okay. Thrift, essentially.
No, it's a proper store by the way.
It's a have a store in City Walk also, I think, like, for this pre-love thing. For luxury bags.
Okay.
Good
Like,
quality bags.
what do you say in US refurbished? Is it something like that?
Refurbished, kind of, yes.
Like they are refurbished in Nike store in US is mostly an online return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was worn for 1-2 days.
Yeah.
But now they are a brand.
Yeah.
They can't
But this is
sell it
essentially
as
putting
it
the
is.
same design out, right? For at cheaper prices
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever discount.
Yeah, I
So
think
I've heard of
not more like rethreading.
Apple
and
is the same
everything.
thing. No, Apple used to have this refurbished iPhones. My
Yeah.
first iPhone was refurbished one. I know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Now I've heard of companies trying to build something and now a business around liquidating their inventory hasn't flown that way. The closest thing I've seen is that a lot of times I've asked people who are selling in Sarojini Nagar, how is this quality so good? What are you saying? You're selling this for $150. The cogs are above 150. I'm telling you, I understand this much. So he was like, these are mostly rejections by manufacturers.
Yes.
We buy them on kgs
Yes.
and we sell to you on unit.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where the profitability lies for them.
Yes.
So when you are picking in kgs and selling in units, there is a business.
Yes.
So if that kind of
So are you
someone
saying
calls
the
it-
defects are non-obvious?
They're not obvious.
No,
Even
but-
if they're obvious, there's a market for
There's a market
people
for it,
who want
exactly.
to buy it.
There's a price for it.
Yeah.
It sells for it.
That is insane, man. But Sumit, I think this has been really, really insightful. And what a crazy journey, you know?
For
Like,
sure.
there's been some.
Not crazy. I started only, boss.
Bro, I mean, this 11 months feels like a lifetime, I'm sure. To you as well,
I think
right?
I have no complaints.
Is there a personal message to that? This is new version of you, so it's new.
New me.
I think let's put the basics in place. I think
Yeah.
that's the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I always feel that it's always happy to be grounded and close to consumers. I think my only takeaway in last 11 months has been we are not Gen Z and we are not the most fashionable people. At least I know myself about. I think the only way I learn is by talking to our customers.
Yeah.
I make sure and we are putting this as a culture of the company now that everybody has to make 10 calls a day or listen to 10, at least 110 customer queries a day. We're trying to push it more and more in the entire company now. That when you listen that, then only you can build something for them. Otherwise, you're always playing in dark with no real data, no real
Correct.
consumer insight.
Correct.
What I have uncovered in the last 11 months is because of my team, who is also very young, and also, talking to our consumers who have been our power users, people who have not loved us, there are people who have bashed us massively, and I make sure I talk to them a lot more.
Yeah.
Few days back, a customer bashed on LinkedIn, and he tagged me, and I made sure I called him and said, "Sir, this is happens." And I think he gave me good feedbacks. But I think it's very important for us to keep learning. Yeah. I always believe that day, moment you feel I know everything, that day is the last day of your business.
Correct. Correct. I'm sure we have all had that journey, right? The ego crashing journey, right? Where you talk to customers, he'll bash you, and you can't say anything because you sold him something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But this has been fantastic, Sumit. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
coming
guys.
on the
Great
Synapse
talking to you
Pod.
guys. It's always great. But I think we could have done for this. We could have chilled more, but I think I had to rush for some.
Yes.
Great, yeah.
No,
Great,
but
guys.
this was great, Sumit. Thank you so
Thank
much.
Thank you, Chirag.
Right, guys, follow New Me, subscribe, Synapse Pod, and like the content. Thank you so much. This has been fantastic. On to next week. See you.